What's up, peoples? It's Gendo here, and welcome back to the Basque Boys. As always, if you're still enjoying the series, please do go and drop a like. And today, it's a little bit extra. See, we have already played 5 years in this series, and I want to see exactly who's done what, who's won the big competitions, who's moved where, etc., etc. So that's what we're going to do today. We're also going to go over all the awards and the stats before we get into that. So let's take a look and see how the team did as a whole this year. So first and foremost, it should come as no surprise to you who is the leading goal scorer on this team. Ossie Villalibre scoring 41 goals in 42 appearances. He was a venerable one-man show at 23 years old. The beast is only going to get better. But he wasn't the only one that scored double-digit goals. Muniain getting himself 18. Pablo Hervias, who is on the team, also getting 11. You see Diego Tomei also there with 11, but he's loaned out somewhere else. Top assister, Muniain getting himself 18. 18 goals, 18 assists. Pretty even there for him. 13 for Hervias, 10 for Lekwe. See, this is still pretty weird. That's the right back is still one of the top assisters on a team. Anyway, overall average rating, I would have thought Muniain with his 18 goals, 18 assists, I would have thought more of the assisting would have factored into that, but no, it's Villalibre sitting up top with a 7.57. I'm pretty sure it was all those goals that helped him do it too. Cervantes, the goalkeeper, I don't know why. He only had one appearance and a 7.50 average rating. He's not really a part of that list. But a 7.42 for Laporte and a 7.37 for Marco Echeverria, even though he had played in 16 appearances. 7.37, not all that bad. He's a very competent backup of Lekwe. Looking down below that, Muniain is sitting there in 5th place. Hervias as well with a 7.28. So overall, not too terribly bad. Not a lot of players under 7, which is good. That means that a lot of the players I'm going to keep, because there really doesn't seem to be a lot of turnover that I want to have on this squad going forward. Yes, there's a couple areas I need to strengthen, but I can always develop from within instead of having to go out and pay the big bucks, even though I've paid the big bucks in the past. So I'll look to see what I need to do in the off season. And I almost forgot, some of you guys actually want to see what my youth setup is like. That's why I'm doing this now. Why you're not seeing my face, because I'm doing this in post. But anyway, here's my under 19 screen, and I have this sorted by highest potential ability, and I do have a couple of players that could be 5-star potential. It'd be really nice if they hit that. I'm probably guessing they're not, but it's a couple of Garcias sitting in that spot, and the first one is Iñaki Garcia, a recent pickup as he came in through Regen Day, and he's 16 years old, defensive mid / center mid. I want to try and utilize him more towards that defensive mid side, so when Iñaki, or not Iñaki Williams, but Mikel San Jose leaves, I can fill up that role with this kid. He looks very decent in the physical department. 14 acceleration, 12 pace, decent everywhere else. Defensive stats could use a little bit of work. 9 marking, 10 positioning, but the 15 tackling, that's all great. Mentally decent. Vision needs a little bit of work as well. But yeah, for a 16-year-old that has a lot of development ahead, I expect good things from him. And then Mario Garcia, no relation. He came in last year. He's 17 years old, and look at all those arrows trending upwards, because I believe he's being tutored by somebody. He is being tutored by Benyats. It's very unfortunate that Benyats going to be retiring, because I'm sure Mario Garcia would have loved to continue on with that tutoring. But yeah, as you can see right now, he looks fairly average for a defensive mid if I do in fact go down that route. Taking a look at some of his stats for defensive mid: 9 marking, 14 tackling, 11 positioning, decent physical, decent mental, just a whole decent player that I can assume is going to be going nowhere but up, because he's only 17 years old and has a lot of room of growth. Going down the list to some players that you already know and have seen already, like Munoz, like Miranda, like Echeniz. Urco Lopez came in last year as part of my Regen Day. 15-year-old goalkeeper, now 16 years old. He was being tutored originally under Stéphane Ruffier, but overall, he's been doing fairly well for himself. He's definitely grown aerial in the communications and the speed side. The shot stopping really hasn't gone up so much. I really want him to be training up in the one-on-ones and the reflexes. Actually, the reflexes doesn't need so much. It's the one-on-ones that's going to, be something that he needs to work on. But other than that, a 16-year-old goalkeeper that has a tremendous upside, and I really hope that he does well. He's very, as it says right here, promising goalkeeper. That's what I want for him to be, a very good goalkeeper down the road. Outside of that, I'm not sure from my under 19 side who I can't bring up if I haven't brought them up already. Andoni Santisteban, he's 17 years old. I originally picked him up. I'm trying to remember where I picked him up from. Osasuna. Brought him in for 1.2 million euros. I know that's a hefty price, but for a center mid that can also play attacking mid, and believe me, I need all those attacking mids as soon as possible. He doesn't look too terribly bad. 13 first touch, 10 passing, 12 technique. He's great physically and can only go up from there. His determination is skyrocketing because who is he learning from? He is being taught by Ander Herrera at this point in time. So, yeah, Andoni, I'm just going to call him Andoni at this point in time. Plenty of room for growth and continuing to be tutored by some great players. I'm sure that his stats will go nowhere but up. And yeah, if I'm full in that center attacking mid spot, I can always retrain him to be a center mid because I definitely need some space there. And as far as other midfielders that are being retrained to be center mids, Lorenzo Gallego is definitely on that list. He's 17 years old. We did not originally pick him up through our own regen day. We bought him from Granada for a fee of 1.3 million euros. And yes, it seems like I am picking up a lot of these youth for very high prices, but when we're not bringing them through our own system, getting them through our own regen days, we have to go out and pick them up. And yes, for high potential players, sometimes you're going to have to pay high prices. And I feel like this kid can develop very well. He's currently being trained by Mikel Merino, so he's not in bad hands. I expect him to develop fairly well, and right now he's a very average midfielder right now, a very well-rounded midfielder that has nowhere to go but up in his development. Outside of that, taking a look at my B side, and a lot of my B side players have lost a lot of developmental potential, and one of those being Luis Martos. He originally was a 4.5-star potential ability player. It's dropped down now to 3.5-star, and I don't understand why. He really outgrew the under-19s, obviously being 19 years old right now, but I didn't want to stick him in my Athletic Bilbao C side. I felt like he was good enough to move up to the B side, and he's done okay for himself. 13 goals in 31 matches with a 7 average rating, but it seems like his development has stalled, and that's really a problem if I want to try and make him my third choice striker going down the road. I just wish that there was some way I could figure out what was the problem with him being hindered in his development, because he can't be trained up by anyone anymore, which is a shame. And the other 3.5-star potential that I have on my Bilbao side is Ruben Martinez. I picked him up originally a couple of years ago, and as a left attacking mid, he's a little better than Raul Paul, but the reason why I've been playing Raul Paul is that he is in my under-19s right now. Ruben Martinez in the Bilbao side, I cannot move them up or cannot make them available for my main roster side. So that's the reason why he hasn't been featuring within my main roster. But anyway, as you can clearly see, 19 years old, 14 pace, 17 acceleration. So I like the little bit of pace that he's got out there on the wing. Technically gifted as well, 14 dribbling, 13 first touch, 13 technique. Needs to work a little bit on the vision and the attacking side if I want to try and make him an inside forward. But other than that, not a bad winger. Going through all the list of the awards that have popped up on my screen, Lukaku gets himself Player of the Year with a 7.74 average rating. Villalibre a close second with a 7.55. Yes, those 27 goals did help out a lot, but Lukaku got himself 31. That also secures him the Pichichi with those 31 goals. Suarez with 28, just edging out Villalibre in that aspect as well. But Villalibre at least gets the title of top goal scorer, top Spanish goal scorer for the year with his 27. Alvaro Morata with 19 and Kuki with 14. Oh, you bastard Kuki in that last match. Hate you for that. Bernd Leno wins the top goalkeeper award, the Trofeo Zamora, with, what was that, how many clean sheets? He had 22 clean sheets. Andre Onana, also of Malaga, coming in second place, and Ruffier getting himself third place honors in that. Did not think he would have been up there. Taking a look at the awards given out by the squad and fans player of the season, it's no surprise who it is. It's Asier Villalibre, surprisingly a lot closer than I would have thought. He only got 40% of the vote, with Laporte getting 35. Very split between the two. Iker Muniain getting himself 16. I feel he should have been a lot higher than that. Goal of the season, Ander Herrera, way back when, in our 6-1 drubbing over Atletico Madrid. So let's take a look at that. Decent little passing attack in the middle of the park at the 75th minute. Top of the D, Ander Herrera curls it around 2 defenders into the upper 90. What a strike that was. I can absolutely see why that is goal of the season for him. You can't get much better than that. You really can't. Signing of the season, Ander Herrera with 11 million euros to spend on a prime-time midfield player. And yes, he did produce the goods. I agree with that. And young player of the season, Asier Villalibre. This is the last year he can get it because he's 23 years old. I wonder who it's going to be next season. don't have a lot of youngsters coming through. It could be Diego Tomé, it could be Mikel Chowsty, it could be Linton Jr. And speaking of those players that I just mentioned, I'm very happy that they are progressing at a very fast pace to take over first team roles because, well, we're not going to have Ben yet for very much longer because he's retiring. Another player that's also retiring is Raul Garcia. He just made that mention just a week ago after I went off the air from the last episode. He himself's going to be retiring, and I got to say thank you for that because I don't want to keep paying $85,000 a week for a player that I'm just not going to be using. So that's 2 big contracts off the board right there, and there's a third one that I want to get rid of, and that's Susaeta. To be honest with you, Susaeta is not a bad player. He's just a little injury prone and a little old at this point in time. Plus, he's making $75,000. So I want to try and get him off the books and clear up as much space as I can for just any other signing that I want to bring up, or if I need to expand upon a contract that I currently have sitting on my roster. Leque maybe, Via Libre maybe, who knows? Just to have some playing money is what I'm saying. All right, so y'all know what happened in La Liga this year. Top 4 spots going to us, Barcelona, Malaga, and Espanyol going into the Champions League. Really, really weird to not see either Atletico Madrid or Real Madrid in those Champions League spots. They are, in fact, going into the Europa League with Real Betis coming in 7th place. Teams that are going down, Las Palmas Oviedo and Eibar. See you later, guys. It was really nice beating up on you. But those coming up, we got Valladolid, Granada, and then one of these 4. The playoffs still have not been finished. And it's the 1st of June. I thought they would have been done already. But Levante, Sporting Gijon, Cordoba, or Alaves could potentially come up as that 3rd team. Take a look at the Premier League and Spurs winning it this year. 92 points, just edging out Manchester United. And then Arsenal, look at how far back they were. 11 points behind them. Man City, 21 points behind them. So it really was a 2-horse race this year in Spurs and Manchester United. Let me take a look and see what the Premier League looks like 5 years on from now. Newcastle is up there. Aston Villa is back up there. Wimbledon, yes, they're dead last. But Wimbledon making it all the way up to the Premier League is an absolute feat. Good on for them. I wonder if they'll actually, consolidate in the Champions League and try and make a push for the Premier League again. But Wimbledon, congratulations making back to the Premier League. Take a look at the past 5 winners aside from Spurs. United, Arsenal, United, Arsenal. United winning it twice is not much of a shock, but Arsenal winning it twice? Maybe they can get one in the near future. I don't know, but that's really strange that they won it twice. Take a look at the championship. Let's see who's actually coming up. Wolves win themselves the playoffs and are going up. Swansea and West Brom as well. Is there anybody else that's really, really strange to see down here? I'm not really seeing so much. Blackburn getting themselves relegated. Yeah, not much of anything going on that looks really strange down here in the championship. Let me take a look and see what League One looks like. You got Leeds going up, Rochdale as well, and Huddersfield winning the playoffs going up. Bolton are down there in League One. Is there anybody else down here in League One? Peterborough, Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient's making it all the way up to League One before getting relegated again. Yeah, it doesn't look too much of anything that pops out for me. And then League Two. Just take a look at League Two. Portsmouth getting themselves promoted up to League One. Blackpool, Bury, and Gillingham. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Tell me if I'm wrong. Getting themselves promoted via the playoffs. Yeovil, Donnies, and Wickham missing out all above Gillingham, and they just didn't get the job done. Tough break for all those guys. All right, let's take a look and see how Ligue 1, the French Ligue 1, has done. And it's PSG, it looks like. PSG, far and away the winners this year. 12 points over Marseille, Monaco, Lyon, and Lorient, making up the top 5. Taking a look at the past winners, it's been a PSG-dominated world, but Monaco, in the 2nd year of the save, 2017-2018, coming away with Ligue 1 honors. But PSG, as you'd expect to be the top team in France, getting themselves all those titles. All right, so let's take a look at Serie A. Let's see if has it been a Juventus-dominated league, and it has not. They won it in the first season, but then following it was Napoli, Inter, Juventus, Inter, and Inter winning it this year. 3 points ahead of Juventus, 4 points ahead of Roma, and then a gigantic drop-off between Fiorentina and Roma, with Napoli sitting there in 5th place. But hey, at least the Juventus monopoly is starting to be broken up. Other teams in Italy doing well enough to make competent pushes for that Serie A title. All right, so let's take a look at the Bundesliga and see how that's gone on. And I'm just taking a look right here. Dortmund have won the Bundesliga this year, 2 points over Bayern, and then Gladbach coming in 3rd, Schalke in 4th, and Dortmund though it's Bayern, it's basically Bayern's world. Everyone else is living in it. Dortmund finally breaking up that long streak of Bayern wins. Look at that, Dortmund getting themselves a nice little trophy. Good job, guys. Let's go with the Portuguese league, the Liga NOS, and see what happened there. It looks like it's Benfica, and in fact has been Benfica over the last 5 years. So no real change there. Porto coming in second for a lot. Sporting in third, so there you go. It's basically the Power 3. All right, let's take a look at the MLS, because I'm actually very curious of how the MLS has gotten on, and obviously taking a look at the MLS Cup, because the Supporter Shield doesn't really matter all that much, since that doesn't really determine who wins the MLS technically. First season, New York Red Bulls winning it, as well as 2018, NYCFC in 2017, Sporting KC in 2019, Colorado Rapids in 2020. So New York Red Bulls have never won a title before, so, you know, good on for them for actually doing something with their lives. NYCFC, new team, getting themselves a title within their first 5 years. Sporting KC hasn't won a title in a while, neither has Colorado Rapids. So interesting to see a diverse mix of new winners, as well as a couple old ones, but new winners for that MLS Cup. All right, so let's take a look at the Champions League. And when I say Champions League, I mean the UEFA Champions League, because that's the biggest one. And they haven't played their final yet. I thought they did, but let's just take a look at the past 4 years. Manchester United, PSG in the final, so that's all you need to know about that. But the past 4 years, Benfica winning it in the very first season, Bayern getting themselves a double, and I showed you Tottenham winning it last year over Barcelona. But Manchester United, PSG in the Champions League final for this year. Very, very fun-loving final, I'm sure. Anyway, let's take a look at the Europa League, and it's Monaco over Bournemouth. Are you serious? Bournemouth making a Europa League final. I want to take a look at this. Callum Wilson. It was a stoppage time goal for Bournemouth from Callum Wilson. But Bournemouth even getting to a final, I want to actually see their progression, because that's amazing to me. Monaco getting 4 goals, all from one guy. Yoshinori Muto, looks like a Japanese man. But yeah, let's take a look at this schedule. I am very, very intrigued about how they fared in this Europa League. So they qualified for the Europa League, made it through their group with Hapoel Beersheva from Israel, Villarreal, and Dnipro. And then when they advanced, they beat Nancy from France on away goals. Then Hamburg in the second knockout round. Then they beat Fiorentina. Then they beat Mönchengladbach. Look at that. Oh, 5-2 over Mönchengladbach in that second leg, overcoming that first. And then just completely getting blasted out of the Europa League final 4-1. But like I said, Bournemouth even making it to a Europa League final, that is outstanding in and of itself. Let's take a look at the other winners outside that. Lyon the year previous. Let's not talk about this. We all know about that one. Juventus and Manchester United. All right, so we might as well go over one more thing, and that's the finances of the club. How are we faring? Well, this is actually the first year we had a net loss in the season, in the series. We lost just about 21 million euros compared to all the other previous seasons, where yes, we'd make a positive of about 4 or 5 million euro before then shooting right back up, but it was still a positive. This is the first time that we've actually come away in the red, and that's also attributed to all the big contracts that we've been giving out, as well as bringing in some big contract names as well. Herrera, Martinez, Monreal. So yeah, I understand exactly where all the money is going. It's just that I didn't think we would get hit this hard. So that's something we need to worry about going forward, so that we don't lose that much in the next season. So that's really all for this episode. It's just going to show you exactly how the team is getting on in terms of who's going to be staying, who's going to be going, who's possibly going to be getting a bigger contract. And outside of the team, just the series as a whole, the world as a whole, 5 years on, who won what, and how everyone is doing. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go and drop a like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz, and leave a comment below on what you thought about this. Did you want to see any other leagues? Did I feel I missed anything? Please let me know in the comment box below. But anyway, guys, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.